50 years later, and we still marching. 50 years later, and we still marching. What's going on, everybody? God bless you. Another Real Talk video, and then I'll be out of here for the night. You know, we just had the March on Washington. You know, we remembered Dr. Martin Luther King's speech. 50 years later, color is still a problem. Now, let me say this off top. Y'all know me. To those that know me, know I don't have no problem with color. I don't care whether you're white, black, orange, red, who cares? I love you. But what I really want to do with this video is talk to us, black people, for a moment. I love you. But I'm going to tell the truth. And some of y'all going to hate me when I get through with this. But some of y'all going to love this truth. Because we so quick to march about something. You know. Still marching for this, marching for that. 50 years later, a lot of black people still ain't treated equal. 50 years later, and black people, we have murdered each other more and more over some stupid mess. 50 years later, and more black women steady against black women. More black men against black men. 50 years later, what are we marching for? What are we really marching for? I went to the movies yesterday with my mama, and I went to see that Lee Daniels, The Butler movie. And I must say, that movie there is something else. And if you are a black person, you're going to get mad watching that movie. It's going to make you laugh at a few times, and then it's going to make you real frustrated. And it was so much in that movie. I thought about so much as I was watching that movie. And when we was in the theater looking at it, it wasn't none but white people in there. I think me and my mom and then the two behind us was probably the only black folks in the movie. And it was so quiet in that movie, especially even at the beginning. It was quiet while they was out there in that cotton field. The movie come on with killing. Black people in the cotton field, slaving. White man came out there, got the black woman, which was played by Mariah Carey. Took her in the house to sleep with her. In other words, pretty much raped her, because she was married. White man didn't care about her being married or her son. Took her in and did what he did, put his clothes back on, came back outside. Little son didn't like that. Little son looked at his dad and said, "Daddy, what you gonna do about it?" Daddy looked the white man in his eyes and said, "Hey." That's all they had to say. Really all they had to do was look at him. White man took that gun, shot him right in the head, killed him. Body dropped dead right in front of his own son. It's still to this day not a lot of justice. It's just us. Y'all know that I'm telling the truth. And you know, back then, you couldn't even look a white man in the eye. Yes, a lot of things have changed, but a lot of things haven't changed. But my point again is we marching, but when are we going to start looking out for one another? We so quick to get mad at the white man. When we should be mad at our own selves. Yes, there was a lot of terrible white people, done a lot of sick things, but there was also a lot of good white people. And if you just happen to be white looking at this video, I love you. Don't care who you are. Just like I can say it was a lot of sick-minded, evil, wicked black people that have done things in this life, on this earth. And then I can turn around and say it's a lot of good black people who are working hard and still trying to do right. So when it comes to color, look at sin. Satan done had his hand in all of this from the beginning. And I kept looking at that movie, and when that white man killed that lady's husband, the black man For some reason, I thought about Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman. And my mind was just stuck on that for about 15 more minutes in that movie. I thought about that. And then my thoughts got to running again about the march. What are we marching for? Forrest Whitaker, all of them, my hat's off to all of them people in that movie. Every last one of them. Cuba Gooding Jr., all of them actors in that movie done an awesome job. I'm talking about all the black actors, all the white. The movie was powerful. But like I said, it piss you off too if you black. And the hardest scene for me to look at is when they wanted to just sit down and eat. You know, back then, colors on this side, white folks on that side. Man, how them white folks would spit on them, call them niggers, take the mustard and ketchup, squeeze it all over their face. And then they turned around and took them to jail after that, while the white folks went free. So I'm saying it to say, don't tell me in this life right now that racism has left. Because half of the people that get in trouble, when you see the outcome, when you see the results from a black man versus a white man, you're going to see a white man get off. You're going to see a black man get thrown under the prison. But we thank God everybody's not the same. So it's still no justice. It's just us. But black people, what are we marching for? And when I thought about the march they just had in Washington, I thought about Forrest Whitaker's oldest son in that movie. He hated the fact that his daddy was a butler, still serving. And he wasn't nothing like his daddy. He wanted to be equal so bad, treated fairly so bad, that he got locked up over 16 times. And remember, y'all, this is based on a true story. They got the water hose, sprayed him down, they beat him up. He got right back on up, fighting for justice, fighting for rights. That's in America. Which brings me to my other point in this video. America won't even help America, but go and help a whole other country when people over here need help also. God Almighty. Where is the being treated equal? Now, when I'm saying being treated equal now, I'm not talking about just black people. I'm thinking about the veterans who have went fought for the country, which don't matter what color they was, and how America is doing them. Taking away their medicine. Don't even want to help them, and they done went over there and gave their life for the country. And the country act like they don't give 2 cents about them. Y'all ever been around some veterans all the time like I am? And one thing that really stuck out to me was something that the little brother told the big brother. He said, you fighting the country, but I want to fight for my country. And it's sad to be living in your own country and you got to fight your own country. And Lord have mercy, the younger brother went over there and got killed. For what? Where's the honor at? What was they even fighting for? See, let me say something off the wall. The real war is right over here. It's right here too. I don't have to go overseas to see a war. You know why? I see it every day in Texas. Dallas, Texas, I see it every day. I see it in the stores. I see it in the rough neighborhoods. 50 years later, we still marching. But how can you ever make a change if the change don't start within you? How you gonna make a change, black people, if you can't love other black people? How we gonna make a change and all we doing is kidding each other over a pair of shoes and rims on the car, or you stepped on my foot in the club? Ain't gonna make no change. It started right here. If everybody could do this here and change, you might see a difference. 50 years later, we still marching. 50 years later, now you got more and more baby mama drama and baby daddy drama than ever. What we marching for? 50 years later, we got more black people in prison than anybody. 50 years later, and you got more single moms than ever. 50 years later, look at how many abortions there have been. And this go for everybody. Black, white, whatever your race is. 50 years later, black people, talking about us now, and we still walking around and living in this Willie Lynch syndrome, which we done made that 300 years if y'all ever studied on the making of a slave by Willie Lynch. Some of y'all don't have a clue what that is. But we marching. What are we marching for? Let's start marching down our own streets and showing our brothers and sisters love. Let's start marching around our own neighborhoods and start seeing what each other need, because a lot of the churches ain't doing it. Let's start marching and helping each other, praying for one another. Let's start marching and say, I love you, sister. What do you need? I see your husband been died, sister. What can we get you some groceries? Let's start marching in our own neighborhood. And the sad thing is, after the march is over, like it is, things are going to get right back to normal. Everybody going to forget about everybody. Just like when 9/11 hit. Every time something crazy happens, everybody pull together. Ain't no color. Don't care nothing about no color. Then we need to pray more. We need to do this. But as soon as it die down, feel like everybody right back to normal. Doing what they want to do. What are we marching for? I'll leave y'all with that. Peace.